Hello, you reached Manesh Patel from EII Capital Group. Today is January 1st, 2012. This is our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the currency market. Happy New Year to everyone. This is the beginning of our first video for 2012. So we're going to spend some time on some currencies. Also, we're going to introduce the new Ichimoku currency heat map that we have available. We'll explain that to you towards the end of the presentation too. Before we begin, this is our normal disclaimer. This is for educational use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell anything at all. All charts you're going to see are basically from Thinkorswim, from TD Ameritrade, TradeStation, or FreeStockCharts.com. Here are my contact details here, which is mpatel at eiicapital.com. You could access any of our free resources, from the heat map to scanners to free videos and stuff like that, on ichimokutrade.com. We also have the Twitter feed, Facebook, and YouTube out there too. This gives you a glimpse of our heat map that has available, which we'll explain a little later too. Okay, so let's begin. And first thing we're going to do is we're actually just going to go to our heat map. I'm going to shrink this down so you could see it a little. Maybe that's too much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up. I'll just quickly explain the heat map to you guys, and then you could see it from that point on. And we're just going to scroll down here to a point I could see most of the currencies. And the way the heat map works is basically what you're doing is you're looking for a 2 or 4 on a trading time frame, and if you're trying to tie with 2 time frames, you're looking for a 2 or 4 or a 5 on the higher time frame. So again, you're looking for a 2 or 4 on the daily, and then we're going to look for a 2, 4, or 5 on the weekly, and with the same color. Also, you cannot be yellow because we don't want it to be overextended at all. So if you look at Australian CAD, this is a 2 time frame buy right now. Green represents buying, red represents selling. This is a 4 here on daily. The weekly is basically showing you there's a strategy there too. The Australian yen basically showing you is overextended on the dailies, and then red over here. So no opportunities there as far as 2 time frames. If you scroll down, you got Australian CAD, and then if you keep on scrolling down, you really don't see any other pairs that match up to the 2 time frame strategy at all. So you don't at all, except here, yes, US SEK, but you got a 5 and a 2, and really we want a 2 or 4 on the daily or in the weekly. So really, Australian CAD is the only 2 time frame buy or sell strategy out there right now, and no other opportunities at all. So let's go through and just look for the currencies, and go through and just verify everything with you. If you look, remember, left hand side is basically the daily time frame, right hand side is the weekly time frame. What we'll do is we'll zoom in some here, so you can see these charts. We did have one person saying we couldn't see the chart, so we're going to zoom in some over here. And what we'll do is we'll zoom out and then zoom in to help everyone out. So remember, left hand side is the daily time frame, right hand side is basically the weekly time frame. First thing we're going to go look at is Australian CAD. Okay, and if you look, remember, it was a bullish opportunity here, okay, on 2 time frames. And if you look at the scenarios here, is basically it's got to sit there. Remember, those are potential opportunities on buy side, right? So here you could see that it still has got a lot of movement to go up. It's got to break this pivot high here, so it's got to break this resistance at 1.0524 in order to even start a bullish trend to the top side. Okay, so until it breaks this value, there's nothing really there. As far as a support is concerned, you're basically at 1.033, sorry, 1.0288 is a support. So you got about a 300 pip range on this one, but there's really no opportunities as far as the Australian CAD right now. The strategies are set up, but the thing is, it's still got to break these pivots, where it's got to break the major pivot highs and lows in order to sit there and start trending. So remember, on the heat map, basically you have these opportunities here, but they still got to break the major support resistances in order for them to run. But these are telling you which ones are setting up to get close to breaking them and have the chart pattern as far as Ichimoku strategies are concerned. Okay, so let's go to Euro USD. If you look at Euro USD, you can see basically, if we're zooming in here, this is trending to the bear side already. It's been trending for a while now. It's kind of getting into an oversold scenario. If you look here, we kind of got to a minor support level there. There's a major support level here at 27.13, so look for that going forward. but we are kind of oversold as far as daily is concerned, but we are trending on both the daily and weekly. Okay, if you go look at pound USD, nothing really going on at all. If you look here, we're just kind of consolidating between these ranges here. We'll just put this range here for the support side, which is basically 54.01, and the resistance basically is going to come down to about 555. About 55.67 as the first one, and then the major one's going to be 57.63 as far as resistance is concerned. This thing's just going sideways and sideways and sideways, and you can see that from here, and really not going to do anything. It can't really start a bearish trend until it breaks below 52.62. So really, there's nothing there on the pound USD at all moving forward. Okay, let's go look at Australian USD, and let's go look over here. Okay, let's clean up the charts a little. If you look at the charts here, there's nothing really going on here. You've basically gone above the cloud, basically changing the sentiment to be bullish. But if you look at the weekly, there's basically right now, if you look at it, there's no opportunity at all. This looked like it was going to try to set up to go bearish here, but once it got down to about 96, 92, but then came back up and just kind of hanging around here, really doing nothing. You could see that the momentum here, when it tried to break here, it should have sat there and held the green line, but it came above it and then just consolidated. So it had its opportunity to tank and start a trend when it got to 96.62, but never took advantage of it at all. Let's go look at us, New Zealand USD. If you look at New Zealand USD, nothing really going on at all. It's consolidating, consolidating, consolidating. It's really got to sit there and break the 7400 level. If it does, it can start a trend to the downside, but not until it breaks that level there. As far as resistance is concerned, it's got a major one at 81.06, which is the key one moving forward. Let's go look at US CAD. US CAD, if you look here on the weekly time frame, it's a bullish sentiment right here. It's had its opportunity to take off and go strong, go long, but it really has not done anything at all. And you know, if you look here, this was a chance here, then there was another chance here, and the more it fails in these chances, the more momentum is kind of going away from the bullish side and kind of to the bearish side. Major support is going to be basically at 1.0031, and major resistance is going to be basically around let's see what this level here, which is 1.0286. So those pretty much are the ranges right now. But really, that's not even going to be the resistance level here. That's one major resistance. But if you look here, there's another one, the pivot. So it's really got to break this pivot here to keep on going higher. Let's see here. Let me see if I missed anything. We're kind of jumping around today. We'll go back into this order fashion in a minute. This is one that a lot of people haven't been looking at, but this is definitely one to look at. If you look here, let's zoom out of here. On a daily time frame, we're kind of consolidating, consolidating, consolidating. And right here is where we broke a major support level here. And you could see that level, we broke it. I'm going to zoom in here, and we kind of been going down, down, down. So we made a 200 pip downward move from that point on, and you can see that the trend here is going downwards too. This is overextended, so be careful now. It's too late to get in, but just be careful and watch for this. If it equalizes, then this is definitely an opportunity to go short over here. Okay. Let's start from the very beginning and kind of go for some of these things. Australian, US, Switzy, slowly trickling up. We've been talking about these Switzy pairs slowly moving up, but nothing really hardcore as far as them moving up at all. So we're kind of staying away from the Switzy pairs ourselves. Australian, New Zealand, if you look here, you got a conflict here, bullish over here, and then bearish over here. Nothing really going on at all. If you look at the resistance levels here, then you got basically a major resistance right at 80, and support's going to be at 77.64 as far as Australian yen. Australian USD, we're already covered. CAD, Switzy, we're not going to go for Switzy pairs. Canadian yen, this is the interesting one. This is kind of consolidating here. Nothing really going on here. It had an opportunity to go south, to go bearish, but kind of then went back up and just kind of consolidating here. It's really got to break the 7350 level to go starting a trend to the downside. If it does, then it has a potential of retesting this pivot here at 72. If not, it's going to keep on going higher. So resistance is going to be basically at 78.61. Let's go look at Euro Australian. Look at Euro Australian. This is a nice downward trend as far as the daily is concerned, and you can look on the weekly too. This is a trend with downwards too. So this is a nice trend going downwards. This is an opportunity that basically should have been in the last couple of days and holding this in. So basically, last 2 weeks, this has been a good trade to move forward with. It's basically made a 300 pip movement breaking the support area. Euro CAD. Euro CAD, if you look at it here, this is basically sentiments changed here. Look at this nice move here after breaking this support level here. This has gone 500 pips in favor. So the Canadian dollar has been extremely strong compared to the euro. So if you're going to bet on the euro, this is probably the currency to sit there and look at so far. If you look at EURUSD, it's trickling downwards, but not much. Remember, we're just staying away from the Switzy pairs because they still don't look good. Already gone for that one. Euro yen. Euro yen has been strong too. Not as strong as the Euro CAD, but still very strong. And you could see that it basically broke its support level last week here and continuing to move down. Okay. So euro is getting weak across the board to all currencies, but more so towards the Canadian dollar. And then we already gone for the Euro USD. So now we go back to pound Australian. If you look at pound Australian, this thing's not breaking down here. It broke the support here, and then look what it did. It broke it and then came back up here and closed above it. So this thing really did not show any momentum last week as far as breaking the support at 51.72 and keep on going down. And if you look at the weekly, you could kind of see why, because that's a minor support level there. There's another one here. There's another one here. So this thing's just consolidating. So no real opportunity there until it breaks 47.50 on the downside. Resistance level is going to be around 5,600. Pound CAD. If you look at pound CAD, unlike the Euro CAD, look at this. This is just sitting there consolidating, basically retested low here. It's got to sit there and break that level to sit there and keep on going down. But if you look at the weekly time frame, it's not trending at all. It's just consolidating in the sideways market. So CAD is not as strong against the pound as it is with the euro. Okay, pound yen. If you look at pound yen, you're kind of right at a major support level here. If it breaks that support level, this thing's going to definitely go retest the pivot low here, and it does have a potential of doing that. This thing really has been going downwards, and there is a potential to keep on resuming that level, but it's got to break this level with vengeance in order to keep on going down. Okay, pound USD we already covered. Let's look at New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, nothing really going on as far as daily and weekly is concerned. So we're just going to keep on moving on. Let's skip that one. New Zealand yen, nothing really going on in New Zealand yen. It's more towards the bearish side right now, believe it or not. Support's basically at 59.06, and resistance is going to be basically at 60.79 is the first one, and 62.95 is the second one. New Zealand USD, I don't think we covered this one, but if you look at it, it's in the cloud, nothing really going on here, and nothing going on as far as the daily is concerned. Okay, we already covered US CAD, we already covered US Switzy, and US Yen we haven't covered. If we look at US Yen, look at this big move. Just when everyone thought this thing was going to start going up, and all the camps have been trying to go bullish for this thing for over a year now, look what happened yesterday. Boom, went straight down. This thing is basically consolidating, nothing really going at all. Major resistance is going to be basically at 78.60, which has got to break in order to even have a potential of trying to go long. Okay, so again, there's enough. That's the summary for all the currencies out there. If you're looking at the heat map here for the currencies, remember you got to look for a 4 or a 2 on the daily time frame, and then on the weekly you got to look for a 2, 4, or 5 with the same color and not in yellow. Reason why yellow basically means it's overextended. And if you look, the only potential opportunity we had was Australian CAD. That was about it, but there's nothing else really going on. And you could kind of see that from everything that we went through. There's no real potential there at all. So we're just kind of hanging out, and there's no two time frame scenarios where it's going to start trending on the daily, which also equates to the weekly, where you could get in close to a 500 pip range. Okay, that's it for this week. Hope to speak to you next week.